Hey guys, I'm here with MMA veteran Pat Healy. We did some good training today. We live pretty close together, but I'm gonna blame myself for the rough schedule. We don't get to play enough together, but today we did some light stand-up rounds and then one really long, very intense jiu-jitsu sesh. And I just asked him if he would tell us kind of one of his most memorable submissions from one of his fights. I couldn't pick a favorite submission. I have several memorable ones, but he had a good one coming up in his mind.
All right, it's I call it the back crucifix. It's when you kind of a scramble position where you have your opponent is in quarters and you get the leg hook or the arm hooked here. And just the important thing, a lot of people or different people have different methods on this. The only thing that is important to me is pinching my knees together so he can't limp arm his arm out. So I'm just pinching my knees. I'm not worrying about crossing my feet, anything like that. Pinching my knees, and then I'm laying heavy with my hip onto him. So a lot of my pressure is in my hip, pushing onto him, kind of pushing his base that way. From there, it's just a short choke. To get this, a lot of time a guy will be trying to lock his hands, come into your leg. That's a perfect way to get your arm like a cross face, get to that chin, and just work it under his chin. Okay? You can always choke a guy out just by putting your head to the mat and squeezing your elbow in just like a gi choke. The important part of this choke is that, doing that. So I'm just pinching tight in here, and then I'm gonna lay my other hand flat across his shoulder blade for the grip right there. This is gonna lock the other side of his body in. If it's out here, I don't have the same choke. He can move, whatever. When I lay it across his back, lock my hands, head to head, head to the mat, okay? It's a real hard choke. It's a crush and a carotid choke, which is my favorite. Why not do them both? Important things to remember here is a lot of guys like try to force a roll here. Let's just stay here, especially MMA. I can punch. Even in jiu-jitsu, there's a lot of gi chokes here. As long as I'm heavy with my hip, controlling his position, I can do a lot of stuff. There's no reason to roll. But if he does roll, let him roll you, still controlling the position here. So from here, same thing. I get to that shoulder, pull the elbow down, just like a gi choke, pulling my elbow to my back. And if I can get my other hand in here, same thing, lay it across his shoulder blade, lock my grip up, head to head, choke. So.
And what fight was that, Mr. Pat?
That was in Strikeforce against a guy named Maximo Blanco. And really this is where I learned the importance of elbow in like a gi choke. Before I'd always just choke here, and I'd be cranking on a guy, and it was Josh Barnett in backstage when we were warming up. He was like, hey, keep your elbows in.
Nice.
And I was like, wow, and it worked in the fight, so
awesome.
It's pretty good
Yeah,
advice.
and I like those short chokes too, that detail with the arm over the top is really good. That really makes it uncomfortable, and like he was saying, it blocks down that other side. I can't get my elbow back to create space, so Pat, thank you for rolling and punching me and all that good stuff, and thanks for sharing with the guys.
Thank you, Ben. It's always a pleasure.
Yes, sir. Thanks, man.